Howdy, friends and neighbors. It's Monday night, and we are live. We're going to take your questions, and I'm going to give you my answers. We have some stuff to talk about as the Chiefs get ready for the Take It Back run. This is the fun part as we get ready to get what we'll get from camp as they kind of tool up to try to take off and make that run to Super Bowl 56. Welcome back. This is RGR Football. Hey, everybody out there in Chiefs Kingdom. I'm Ryan Tracy, the founder of Rogue Analytics, as well as your guy over here. You can also check out, I want to make a quick announcement. The Locked On Chiefs podcast is now on YouTube. If you haven't seen us there, you get to see Chris Clark as he tells me what I'm crazy about. And I am crazy. You guys know that. Plenty of information there. I think you guys will dig it. If you check out and go like, sub, and do all that, do that here. If you're new to us, like, sub, and hit the bell. Then you find out everything that's going on. We have a ton for you. Dan has a couple of interesting things for you this week. Little something new tomorrow. And then I think you guys are really going to like Wednesday. We have the Chief of the North on Thursday, so don't miss that as well. And we're going to get into your questions tonight. Looks like there's a ton of them already. And Ben Bratbeck, thank you very much, Ben. As always, appreciate the super chats and all the support. If you guys want to support the channel, super chat is the best way to do it. It is the easiest. You can do it right here. But if you do tonight, please add a question as well so I can get you something for it right now tonight. I have the headphones on because Dan's going to be here too, and he can help give you some value for your donation super chat as well. Now, if you want to go beyond that and you want to be an insider of what goes on in the channel, how we break things down, how we get this thing done, that is trying to cover the best team in football, 360 degrees, you can become a member. And members have some bonus options here in the live chats. You can do the emojis. You have the stack bundles. He can actually show you. If you take a look at him in the chat, you'll see that he's got those tokens that are the membership signs. And as you go up the tiers, there are 5 levels of memberships. You get more and more special content, and some from our members themselves, from Gooch and Keys, as well as a couple of new perks. We have something in the works for you. It's not quite fully baked yet, but we have some new content and a new way to get content coming for you. So, Ben Bratbeck, thank you very much. As always, you always start us off well. And I want to get into your first question because it came right after that super chat. Do we have adequate depth at linebacker and corner? And it's a great question. I think there's 2 answers, one for each position. I think there's plenty of depth at the cornerback position. They have a lot of young guys and a lot of guys that they want to see what they can get out of development-wise. And developmental prospects are exactly what they're looking for. This is a team that has made the decision to go towards emphasizing safety play over corner play in terms of like the total talent, right? Tyrann Mathieu is a household name. The cornerbacks have not been, and even less so this season. The opposite is true at linebacker, in my opinion, where they have a couple of guys. They're relying on Anthony Hitchens to be the best Anthony Hitchens he can be. They're relying on Willie Gay to take a big step forward and be that guy that can chase down and make plays. They're relying on Nick Bolton to be not a rookie, to take a step forward, to be a guy that can contribute in the base and relieve in the nickel and be somebody that they can rely on as well. And then they have Ben Neiman. There's a lot going on there that they want Ben to be the guy that, in case of emergency, can do all those things, especially when you look at who's going to call the defense. So that's not a lot of depth. The question marks are rampant after that at that position. So it really is the tale of 2 positions there as far as I can see and what we're going to see this season. Thank you, though, Ben, and we appreciate the support as always. If you guys want to chime in, feel free to hit that super chat button, but ask a question as well. I'm going to try to get to all of them. Whether you super chat or not, that's up to you. I will make sure that every single super chat gets answered tonight, though. And we try to do the same thing over on Chief in the North on Thursdays with Seth Kaiser. If you guys haven't been here for that yet, you're missing out because Seth and I together is kind of fun. Scott asked, we've seen the tight end you taking place in Kelce and what Kelce is doing to make other tight ends better. What is Kelce doing to make Kelce better and Noah Gray? I can't tell you that specifically. Really only Travis knows that. But I will tell you this. Travis being not just in the room for, those practices and discussions and how they go about technique, Travis being with Greg Olsen and with George Kittle helps Travis. It may not be specific things. It may be, 1% of 1% that is a takeaway, that's something that can rub off a little bit. But those guys knocking things back and forth to each other, I think, goes a long way. When you're talking about that high echelon of players, you can't help but get a little bit better there. Then the teaching aspect is sometimes, and this happens in my life as well, when you know the subject and this is what you do and you know it inside and out, sometimes when you explain it to someone else or you mentor someone else, it actually gives you a slightly different perspective where you then can tweak what you already know a little bit more and make it a little bit more effective. And that's exactly what I think Travis Kelce gets out of this. And that's probably why he's doing it as well. So good question, Scott. Thank you. Kansas City Chiefs. How can Spags utilize Nick Bolton as a blitzer? Because when we blitz, usually they can't sack the quarterback. That's a good question. Like, he's good playing forward. That's for certain. That is his best aspect in my film evaluation from him from college. He hits pretty well in the open field at the college level. I think that's going to change. I don't think he's going to be the same big hitter in the NFL because I think everybody's used to that a little bit. And so it's really about, can he hit his timing? I saw him blitz on film and I thought it was good. Can he battle through contact with the interior offensive lineman, or does he need complete deception where he's got a clean gap to run through? That's going to be the question. If he does get clean gaps, I think he can be a very effective blitzer, and it's something that I want to see them do from that position a little bit more, no matter who it is. I think Willie's going to be great at that, and I think you're going to see him get sent a bit more this season. We'll see who else reaps those benefits. Folks, if you are new to the chat, make sure you put some question marks at the beginning of your question. Helps me pick them out. If you have any trouble, Aaron Morrow is our fearless moderator. You're going to be able to see more of him coming up soon as well. But hit him up if I don't happen to see something. Sometimes if I fall behind on answering questions a little bit too lengthy, I do miss some of the questions farther down the chat line. So I'm trying to do my best to not fall into that trap tonight. And not skip around. So I think Voodoo is the next one that I have. I just want to make sure, as it skipped around there. Do you see Will Parks playing the 2019 Will Fuller role, like free safety slot corner? Will they put Parks at deep safety instead of Dan so Dan can succeed more in the box? I do think that Will Parks has the skill set to play, kind of like Fuller did, anywhere from free safety all the way down to slot corner. I don't know what their plan is. I'll have a better idea when I see him practice. I will tell you that. But Will Parks is a guy that I think could be the X factor for this defense, because I think they're taking their time with Juan. I think they gave him some time off. They didn't push him in OTAs. There's a lot of mental reps for Juan Thornhill. I think that's good. I think you want him at the back of the defense and not having to come down, where, quite frankly, he's still – I'm not sure he's 100% from that knee. He'll get there this season, because usually it's not the following season that a player feels 100%. It's usually the year after that where they're fully recovered and have complete faith back in that knee. That should happen for Juan this year. Knock on wood, nothing else happens. I think that will happen. But in the meantime, it's more difficult to cut on that when you're down low and you're especially dealing with slot wide receivers that are trying to break loose horizontally as well as vertically. I think playing him deep, allowing him to take more singular angles and not having to cut as much, I think that's good for him. The question is Spags is very, very comfortable with Sorensen playing deep. I don't like it as much. You guys know that. I think it puts Dan at a disadvantage at times. He is an instinctual player, so he can still make plays back there from time to time. Not so much last season, but 2 seasons ago, he played pretty well back there. He got exposed some as well. And so I would like to see Dan down low in the box more, particularly because I think they're going to attack them with tight ends quite a bit to try and isolate linebackers. And if Dan is standing into a nickel linebacker role, I think that's good because he's got the mobility. Playing him high, I don't think is my preferred route, but it seems to be Spags. So we're going to see what happens there. Let's see who is next. Agent DK, how are you? If there is a player in the NFL you can steal and put on the Chiefs, Who would it be and why? Oof, that is a great one. I mean, I could say Jalen Ramsey. I'm not a fan of him. I don't like his attitude. I do feel that he is a me first, not a team first guy. So I would take him out of it. But if you put a star corner on this roster that can take away a Cortland Sutton, that can take away Devontae Adams when he comes to town, that can take away whether it's Chris Evans or Godwin, that I think they're going to run into another couple of times. Like, I would like to see a top corner on here. The Chiefs' philosophy right now is not to do that. So then what does it come to? My secondary one would be, I mean, could I steal Khalil Mack? Maybe. I think he would do pretty good as that kind of, I don't think he's a true 3-4 player anymore. So I think he could do pretty good. I mean, but honestly, like, if I had my choice of anyone, it'd be TJ Watt to play across from Frank and do a little bit of everything. That's what I would do. Let's see. Cole, how are you? Lamar Jackson and Honey Badger left out of PFF's top 50. Yeah. And you guys, if you saw or listened to Locked On Chiefs today, that's exactly what I said. Like, the biggest snub of that list, I think, is Tyrann Mathieu. There's certainly an argument for Lamar as well. I think the problem is that Lamar's inconsistent. I think more so it's heightened at the quarterback position. So I think that makes them drop people down. Again, it's a scale based on their rankings or ratings of how guys played. That's the one place where I don't put complete faith in PFF. Like, I like the way that they gather data. I like the data that they do collect. They're not just, regurgitating what the NFL tracks as well. There are some metrics in there that are put together in a way that gives you a different view. I just have trouble with the expectation that an outside view can tell me what a guy's assignment was and grade him based on that. I don't necessarily agree. And I'm going to do a series here coming up that is what the differences are in the NFL. It's not just scheme. You can't base assignment, and especially as us as outside analysts, somebody who's not in the rooms, we can't base analysis just on what the alignment is. And I think a lot of people and a lot of companies get into that too far, especially a lot of analysts who aren't as familiar with the game, or maybe come from a non-coaching background or something like that. They have a tendency to take too many leaps in their evaluation because they recognize a scheme and not what it means to actually play in it. And I'm going to break that down on probably a multi-piece segment, like a little series I'll probably do before training camp. Thank you for reminding me of that. I have to bring that back up. Appreciate it, Cole. Mr. Gucci's in the house. Let's go rogue. Everybody goes rogue, man. Get out there on your own. Have your own opinions. I'll tell you mine, and I'll tell you if I like or don't like yours. But have yours. That's important. I think a lot of people get caught up in group speak, especially if you come from some of the other sites around the Twitterverse and the YouTubeverse that like to tell you that they know 100% of what's going on. And nobody does if you're not inside that room. I'll tell you that right now. Thank you, Gooch. Thank you, Mr. Payne, as always. Who replaces Clark? Well, right now, they don't have to replace Clark. There's been no suspension. I don't expect the Chiefs to suspend him at all until there's a court ruling. And according to, I think it was Sam McDowell at the Star, the caseload in California is such that they're not going to have a proceeding on Frank. He had the problem is Frank had two arrests, both on gun charges, both possession charges, not usage. But the first one was in March, and that court date isn't until mid-October. So this newest one isn't going to be till after that. So until there's some kind of court procedure that renders some kind of decision, I don't think you're going to see the Chiefs organization make any kind of suspension or decision on Frank. Now, the league could change that. The league has the ability to come in, and if they feel that these charges are enough, and because there's two of them within a couple month period that they're concerned, the commissioner could step in and make a decision that puts him on the NFI list, or the commissioner's list. Well, I can't remember the exact term for it at the moment. And if that does happen, then it does become okay. Who's going to play in his place? And I think the logical thing to take from what you saw in last year's output of all the young guys was that they liked what Mike Dana did. They have faith in him to perform in that role. And I mean, he's not a dynamic pass rusher. Maybe he can improve that. I'm not saying that he won't. I'll tell you that right now. But he might. I think they're going to give him a shot at it to be the base end across from, if they lose Frank for any amount of time, I think they'll make him the base end across from Chris. I think Chris Jones will be a defensive end in the base package. I think he might come inside and rush on passing downs, which will make that kind of juxtaposition. Now, if Frank's out there, then Mike Dana is probably in a rotational role, spelling one of them, or when they move Chris inside for a matchup-specific reason, Mike Dana would be the other base end, in my opinion. That also means that you have to have a pass rush designate, and that, I think, is going to be Taco Charlton. In fact, I just talked about that. We just finished recording the Locked On Chiefs show. You'll hear that or see that here either later tonight on audio or tomorrow at lunch on video. That said, I think Taco, what we saw from him, he was the most efficient pass rusher they had on the roster last year. He just didn't have enough snaps. He got hurt. If he can stay healthy in this contract year, which we know is a motivational factor, I think that he can really take a step forward, and he can be that force opposite Frank or in place of if they really have to. The wild cards are Tim Ward, and I know everybody wants to like him because he's been on the roster. I saw a couple of nice things from him when he got snaps last season, but projecting him to be a guy that can come in and start games is way out there. We are nowhere near being able to do that with any reliability. Can he come in and make some plays in relief as a pass rush guy? Let's hope so. He's got the levers. I still feel that he's explosive, and he's another guy that's now another season removed from his injury, and I do like his upside. So keep an eye on him. And the team seems to be very high on Josh Kando. Again, long levers, was not uber productive in college. There's a lot of takeaways from that. I'm not even going to get into the evaluation of him in college. Let's just say that this has been a very big change for Josh Kando coming to a professional organization and what he has to do and how he's being coached and what he has to key on. If he can get all the mental side down of it, I think that he could be a guy that they could go to later in the season as someone that they bring in to let rush the passer. That's my thought. Thanks, AP. Gonzo, thank you for the super chat. You hope you pray it's an SB rematch. The defense isn't looking that good. Really? I thought they brought back Shaq, didn't they? And I thought they re-signed just about everybody else. It looks very similar to me that I know of. But yeah, take it back is what I'm looking for as well. That said, I don't think that they can run the same scheme. Credit to Todd Bowles. He did what he needed to do to get that game won. He flustered Mahomes enough. If they don't have that pass rush connectivity, because the Chiefs actually have their offensive line intact, that game doesn't happen that way. So I agree with you. I'm more than happy to see a rematch. But I think it's because the Chiefs will be stronger than they were because of injury in the Super Bowl, rather than that the Bucs have fallen off that much. We'll see. Another year older for Tom Brady and everybody else in that roster, you never know. Levante David's getting older. Mike Evans is getting older, so you never know. Let's see. Mr. Gooch, you're back. Salute, Rogue Nation. Rogue Nation, keep that in mind. We're going to give you guys something for you members. You got something coming at you here pretty soon. And I love the Rogue Nation thing, and I love that you guys are embracing it here in the chat. We're going to work up some merch for you as well, you're going to be able to take ownership of that. That's going to be you. And I'm really excited about that. So thank you, Mr. Gooch, as always. Folks, you will see more. Tuesday night is member night. And Gooch has got something for you tomorrow, so keep an eye out on that. Preachers of Hell County. Thoughts on Parker a little bit earlier. I'll try to get deeper into that as we go through the summer. I do think that he could be the X factor in this defense. And I think he has a little bit more playmaking ability than Fuller did, to tell you the truth, at the spot where Fuller was when he was with the Chiefs too. So that could actually work out really, really well. Let's see. Who else here? There's Josh. Can Kano provide the same production as K-Pass? Not right off the bat is my guess. I don't think that Kendo, as a rookie, is as good against the run as K-Pass was. And it took K-Pass 2 or 3 years to get to that point. But I do think that he has some pass rush ability. It's what the Chiefs are doing right now to hone that, knowing that they could need some help on the edge. I think Brandon Daly's got his hands full, but I think that he is a guy that can ring some explosion and useful explosion. Kendo's got the physical part of it as potential. He's got to learn how to harness it and use it in a way that actually gets him to the quarterback, not running around the end. So I am very excited about that. But let's not put too much on him. Same as Trey Smith. Let's not put a lot of pressure on those guys early. They have growing to do. While the Chiefs like them both, I don't know if they're ready to step in and start. Mr. Gooch again. Every single one, even if it's juicy. If you guys were not here on Thursday night, the word of the stream was juicy. A lot of details, a lot of ideas, and I think we're going to run with that one too. It seems like everybody around here on the RGR crew seems to dig it, so you guys will see some of that as well. And I have to say, shout out to the original All Juicy team, the All Juice team from Therese Paler. If you guys want to help out, a lot of us are rekindling this to try and move that forward. I know KCSN is doing something thanks to BJ Kissel. I want to put this out there too. If you want to help, if you want to pay a little tribute to Therese Paler, go to this address, giving.howard.edu/give now to his scholarship fund. It is a scholarship for someone at Howard that is in journalism for sports. And I think that is a cause worth getting. We got a lot of great information and a lot of great work from Therese over the years. This is a way to pay it back a little bit. And I encourage you guys, if you liked what he did, to help that out. Let's see. Gary, do you see the O-line being a top 5 or 10 line this year? I think they can crack in there. Yes, definitely. Can they be the top 5? We got to see how they come together, but they have the talent for it. I'm a little nervous. If everybody, I know a lot of you guys in here want Trey Smith to start. That's a scary proposition when you have 2 of your 3 interior players as rookies. It's difficult for the quarterback to get his job done. Because no matter what, it makes things difficult for rookies to actually perform up to the level that you're hoping for. If he wins that job, if Trey Smith, as a rookie, knowing that he's not exactly like the zone guy, if he wins that job over Kyle Long and over LDT, you got to feel good about it. I will. I just don't, again, want to put that pressure on him because I think it's a tall order to beat out 2 veterans that know what they're doing. Of course, that is if they're healthy. So we're going to find out about that. That said, if one of those guys does win that job and you have a veteran in Remmers, or if Niang can beat him out, which I think should be on the table, I think you have the ability to break the top 10. Could they get to the top 5? I don't know. We'll have to see about efficiency. Some of that will be reflected, quite frankly, especially with the way that the advanced statistics that PFF uses. A lot of that will that 5% increase that might get them into the top 5. Some of that will come at the hands of the quarterback, knowing when to just not try to pound it deep and take what he's given. I think that may turn the efficiency of the line around a bit in the way that they're scored as well. And we can debate about whether that should even play into it or not. That's a whole different argument, but we'll get there. E-Turn, how are you? Landlord had injury issues in the past, but he's been healthy since being a Chief. He's due. How much trouble would KC be in if he got long-term injury this year? I don't buy into jinxes, so that's why I ask. I agree with you. I don't buy into jinxes either. Mahomes kicked the Madden jinx bucket. I'm not worried about it. If he got a serious injury, though, he's not under contract right now past, I think, 2022. I'd have to check that. I know he's under contract this year, and I think he's under contract next year. So if he had a significant injury, so much that he couldn't play going forward, I don't think the Chiefs would be in a bad position, other than the fact that they would have lost their leader. And Tyrann Mathieu, let's not make any mistakes about it. Tyrann Mathieu is the leader of this defense. It is not particularly close. I know Frank's a vocal guy. He's got a lot of edge. Chris Jones is a vocal guy. He's got a great personality. He keeps things loose. Tyrann is actually not. This is the final year of his contract. For some reason, I thought he had 2022. So if he got hurt this year, they'd be out nothing. Nothing that they don't already owe him. But it would hurt them long term because he is going to be the glue that holds everything together. He's going to be the glue that allows players like Thornhill and Snead to become their best, to hit their potential. He's going to help guys like Willie Gay and Nick Bolton because he knows the entire defense and he's able to move things around. And from his spot as safety, particularly in robber, when he's closer to the line of scrimmage, he can move those guys around vocally. Like he's loud enough to help them out, get them in a better position to make plays. And that can help them a lot. So it would be a blow. But in terms of like the financial and the cap and that kind of stuff, yeah, I think he's due. So I think they get it done before camp. And I think you're going to see Tyrann Mathieu signed to an extension. Maybe the day that camp opens, like he'll fly in, sign it, and go to practice. You know, that's what I'm thinking. Voodoo, if everyone is healthy, could you see a scenario where Ward becomes trade bait, especially with Boodle and Bo Pete doing good thus far? They haven't done anything at all. You can't say that they've done good thus far. They're practicing. That doesn't mean anything. Those guys have yet to play any significant snaps. I think Bo Pete played 4 snaps on defense last year. So, yeah, that's way jumping the gun. No, they will not trade Ward. No one's going to trade for him because he's basically effectively a free agent next year. This is his restricted free agent year. No one's going to trade for him. They're certainly not going to give you anything of value. It's better to have a player of his caliber on the roster than it is to try to get a 6th round pick or something like that. So no, I do not see that happening at all. Stevie Rogue. Yeah, I like that one. That was Avery's idea, and he did a great one. If you guys want to get on the channel, I'm going to put together a promo. It's going to have everybody saying Rogue. Yeah. I will put them together. You send them to me on social media and I will piece it together. I want to see those. Let's see. And Mr. Gooch. I got time today. Okay, so Gooch is having a good day, evidently, not pulled in too many directions. Thank you, Gooch, as always. Folks, if you want to see more of Stevie and Gooch, make sure you check it out. We have another episode of the Rogue Head Huddle. I wasn't able to get it out yesterday. I had some technical difficulties. We're going to piece that back together next week, and you'll have something from Gooch tomorrow night for the Rogue Life show. And Stevie and Gooch, I do need to catch up with you guys. I'll try to do that on the other apparatus. Let's see. What did Stevie say? One day Ryan will add my juicy emoji. Yes, I will try to do that. I gotta download and do the thing with the stuff, and yeah, it's Seth's face, so he's got to okay that. But I like the idea. Okay, now, so this is one of the situations I was talking about before. I have fallen behind, and I have to get caught up. So, where is it? Gooch had a salute to the mod father, to Aaron. That's awesome. I have run out of the comments, so I'm going to have to take that one down. Oh, Dan made it. Hey, look at his shirt, too.
What's going on? Yeah.
Nice coincidence. We're in a mood, evidently.
I am in a mood. How's it going, everybody?
We're having fun. Looks like there's some new fans. Hey, Big Chief Sean is in the house. You guys go click and go subscribe to Sean's channel. You're gonna love it, especially as the season rolls around. Sean, you and I need to talk. You would ping me on social media or something. Let's have a chat. I got an idea. Let's see. Joseph Jackson. Dan, are you feeling good about where everybody's at with the whole Frank thing? We had a couple questions about that. I just want to get your take before we roll on.
I'm pretty comfortable with the fact that I think that this is not just gonna. It's almost gonna go away. It'll roll into 2020. He's gonna play this year. It's gotten to the point where I think because things haven't really come up and gotten worse to the point where suspensions be levied and things would be coming down the pipe. I think that we're kind of seeing that maybe TMZ is TMZ and reported some things that didn't exactly come through to fruition yet. And because they haven't, I think we're kind of in that holding pattern that we were. It's not to the extent of Tyreek Hill, obviously, but it's getting to the point where it's almost going to roll into 2020. And we're already seeing things about Antonio Brown. His allegations were dropped. Like he got off probation a year early. Like things are going differently. It kind of works that way. So I'm pretty comfortable.
Okay, good. I'm glad that you are. I'm trying to remain optimistic as well.
I feel like I got a really good connection tonight. Like this looks crystal clear on my end. I don't know about you guys.
Oh yeah, you look great. Can you see me or am I just a blob?
You're a little blurry.
Yeah. Someday, folks, someday. Elon, help me out.
Right.
I don't remember who it was, but I do want to say thank you to whoever gave me the idea of Starlink, Elon's satellite service. It does seem to have the throughput. I got myself on the waiting list. See if Elon comes through or not. Yeah.
Let's hope so, man.
If the specs are correct and I can get it, it will dramatically change the way that this looks. So that said, that's why we focus on Dan and Joseph and everybody that asks questions, because those graphics make me look better. So there was a report that Hardman has improved his consistency on the field so far in the offseason. If he continues this trend, what kind of numbers do we see from him? That's a great one. And I think that's pretty apropos for where you're at with him, right, Dan?
Yeah, like that's it's funny because I'm going to have the Mecole Hardman film drop on Wednesday. That's when it will go. I'm going to talk a bit about this actually specifically. So it's really kind of a great question for the time. I'll give you a little insight. I think that the consistency has always been the thing from last year. Like if you go back and just watch games, there's at least one time in almost every game where Mahomes looks at him and he does something like this, or he does something like this, and McCall's like, yeah, this is me. He's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I feel like that's going to happen for a lot of the younger guys that didn't get that offseason with the starters and with Mahomes specifically, because there's a reason he was always going to Kelce and Hill like 1-2 reads, and then it was something else, because he knows they're going to be in the spot that they're supposed to be in. Like that's how it works, unless this play is specifically drawn up. So the consistency, if it is, I think we're going to see at least a bump in by 200, 300 yards in on his season, I would imagine.
I would hope so. Here's fingers crossed for that one.
Yeah. Right.
Oof. And from Joseph Jackson to Joe Jackson, with Kelce getting older, what percent of the snaps do you cut him back to keep his elite production? I don't cut him back. I let Travis tell me how he feels. If Travis feels more worn down or feels like he's not producing, he'll be the first one to say, hey, give me a little bit more of a rest. And I will pay attention. This is one of those cases where I think the coaches need to listen to the players, not the opposite.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that you can tell how passionate he is. We've seen the videos of him teaching guys in the tight end university over the weekend. Like he's extremely passionate, not only about the position, but his craft. And you can see it in the way he teaches. So I don't believe he's going to have a drop off in the next 3 to 5 years. Maybe at the end of that, he's going to start to see some drop off, but if he keeps himself in peak condition, he's always doing things to keep himself in good shape and on the field and work his way, keep those injuries away. You can see the way that he takes on contact. He always finds a way to get out of the biggest blast zone. That's going to extend his career.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And hopefully we'll see that as well.
Yeah.
Row the boat. How are you? Who do you want to see make the most progression from last year to this year in camp? Mine's easy. You go first.
Mike Dana. It's boom, boom, boom. Like that's who it is. I want him to take that, essentially be the starting other end. We know that Chris is going to play out there. I assume it's going to be on like a game basis, how much he plays out there. But I want to have a defensive end that steps in. If say, your game plan is to just keep Chris at defensive tackle, like all game, just have a defensive end you can put out there 1, 2, 3 snaps and that are 1, 2, 3 downs and be good on all 3 of them. That's what I want to see. Okay,
I'm with you. I am also on the defensive side, but it's Willie Gay for me. Like, I knew that Willie was going to have like that year where he had to learn. He didn't call defenses at Ole Miss. He didn't have that game experience. It was six games his senior year, I think was all. Like
it was 6 games his collegiate career.
Oh, his career? Okay, right. I knew I had 6 in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But no, like we knew that was going to slow things down progression wise. But now I feel like I felt like I was starting to see more from him in terms of being able to identify and close just before he got hurt. Everything that I've heard from people who've been at practice is that he's moving well. And with the mental sides clicking and his body can take over, he's going to become a playmaker. And that's what I'm looking for because they don't have one at the second level right now.
Nope.
It is what it is.
Love it.
Mr. Gooch, Rogue Nation taking over YouTube in the NFL. Cheers to you. I'm not drinking tonight, but it is what it is. My kids are sick, and I have like clogged ear over here, so it's one of those deals. We went from 86 degrees up here at 10,000 feet to 48 in a day.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
that's going to get everybody sick.
Yeah, it was terrible. Kids are hurting. It is what it is, though. Curtis, thank you for this. Let me put that up quick, too. Guys, if you would put question marks at the beginning, it helps me find them. Just like Marlon did. Thank you, Marlon. Who's going to have the big leap year in year 2? Leap year. God, I hope it's for Sean Wharton, too. Like, I end up on the defensive side of everything.
So I'm going to tell you who it's going to be. It's going to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's going to have the biggest leap. And I talk a little bit about it in tomorrow's video, specifically on the fantasy side. And I hope you guys, whoever likes fantasy, you're probably going to like this for Chiefs-related video. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with that. But Clyde is going to be fully involved in the pass game, in my opinion. Like they've talked about it. He's going to have an offensive line to run behind. He's going to get some more goal line touches. So for me, it's Clyde having a real, full year off season in the system. It's going to take off.
I hope so. I'm ready.
Me too.
Because every pass that he catches is one more weak box that he gets to run against. So I am all for that. Let's see here. Travis Anderson, thank you very much for your super chat. I'll see if you left something down below. So I want to make sure that we get your question answered. Stevie, over under 15 super chats from Gooch. I'm going to take the under. I want Gooch to go easy, folks. Gooch is a big supporter around here, so Stevie. I don't want to hurt nobody's wallet. So hey,
right.
Sean, I'm glad you're here. So is the rest of the crew. It's nice when you can make it. So I'm glad that you did. Kansas Carolina, what needs to happen or not happen for you to think training camp was a successful one? Anyone know why almost all the Chiefs replays on the NFL Network are games they lose? Because it's easy to make people root against them.
Yeah.
You're going to start to see more opinion around the league, more fan bases around the league be anti-Mahomes because they're tired of seeing him win.
Oh yeah,
it's the Brady effect. You just get tired of seeing guys be that good if you don't have them.
Yeah, right. That's why you see everyone hate on Mahomes, because they can't actually find anything wrong with what he does, especially when you watch the people that hate on him for the Super Bowl not putting up more points.
Right.
They didn't watch the game. They just said, hey, they only scored 9 points. If you watch the game, we all know that Mahomes did everything humanly possible, vertical, everything to win that game, or did you put points on the board? So it's just people wanting the narrative to have a narrative.
Yeah, that's true. But Carolina, for training camp to be successful, there's a couple of things for me. One, we have to see the offensive line come together and function as 5. And I don't know if they're going to get the same 5 or they're going to have to mess around with it now. We'll see. 2, I got to see somebody take that X receiver job. Not just be the guy who wins it, take it.
Yeah.
My money's on Pringle. 3rd, I got to see them get significant pressure and sacks in the preseason games in the second half when the backups are playing. That's what I need to have. What do you got,
Ryan? Ryan just went down the list and said, hey, Dan's got that one, Dan's got that one, and Dan's got that one too. And he just took all of them. So that's what we're going to say. We need to see continuity from the players that, the young players that didn't have the offseason last year. That's the biggest thing for me, because you have guys like, Niang, who didn't play last year, much less get an offseason. You have, Hardman, who we thought was going to take a step last year. He didn't have that offseason. Clyde, all of these young players that they've drafted that have potential that didn't have that offseason last year, it clearly affected them. And now we need to see, coming into this offseason, the benefits and the fruits of the labor of putting in that time in the offseason, reading the playbook, and getting together with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, that's when it all comes together. You all got to be on the same page. Damn. Okay. Yeah. I have 18 other criteria too. I'll leave those alone so I don't steal off Dan's thunder. Sorry. Big Chief Sean asked, if you could trade for someone for Clark, who would it be? Man. I mean, if the Steelers are concerned about paying him, I'd trade for TJ Watt.
I was about to say, if we're going 1 for 1 and there's no limits, give me TJ Watt. I think should have already gotten Defensive Player of the Year. He's incredible. Yeah. Him or Devin Bush. Give me one of the two. I don't care.
I mean, nobody's going to trade you Aaron Donald. No. Nobody's going to give up Jalen Ramsey. So those guys play for the same team. Man, that just hit me too. Dang. I mean, yeah, but there's a couple of players. I mean, I don't know. It's a great question, Sean. In fact, Sean,
yeah,
would you answer that, please? And I'll come watch your video on that.
Talk to me about Discord. Frank. We can all talk about it there too.
That's coming. It's not ready for public consumption. Way to let it out of the bag, but thanks. Anyway,
I was unaware.
Folks, we'll have an announcement for you coming up.
Discord.
But and Stevie does have a good point. They did get a little fired up, and Stevie, that's on me why I didn't get out on time. This whole single dad thing I'm doing this week has been difficult. So I fell in a rut and got behind. So folks, you are going to dig that. I'm trying to keep those for Sundays. If Stevie wants me to pull the trigger, we'll put it up early for you members. It is a member show. So if you want to see that, jump into the memberships. We have a new one in here already tonight. I'm going to shout you out here right now, Bill Meyer. And thank you for joining. We're glad that you're here. The interesting thing about it is that you get perspective that isn't me and Dan. We're always trying to rework the team, get different perspectives. And now you get some from the members themselves, from Stevie and Gooch. And that's what you're going to like about Rogue Head Huddle. That is coming up. Agent DK, thoughts on PFF ranking Travis the third best player in the league? I was pretty impressed with it. Would you have put him 3?
No, I wouldn't have. I would have put him down the list a little bit. But I think that you have to respect what he's done over the past 5 years. He's not only been the most productive tight end in the NFL, he's not gone anywhere. Like he's shown zero signs of slowing down as he's getting older. So I think that they're showing respect to him, as well as the impact that Mahomes and Reed have had on him and the longevity of his career.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's nothing against Travis.
No, it's not.
I'm not even I don't want to jinx it, but Travis is going to be not only in the Ring of Honor, he's going to be in a much bigger ring, in my opinion. And I thought it was definitely telling too, the difference between where he and Kittle were on that list.
Yeah.
That says something as well. Now, again, that's their grades that they're ranking by. I don't buy into that 100%, but that's their take, and I'm happy to talk about their take. So
yeah.
I thought Tyreek was too low. I'll tell you that.
There was a couple of Chiefs that were too low on that list, but that's again why we talk about their grades not always having the best evaluation on that.
Patrick, do you think that Kyle Long is a sure starter when healthy, or does he have to come back and compete for a spot? He's competing.
Yeah.
He's in a dogfight.
Unfortunately, that injury has now set him back behind the 8 ball. And I think the LDT's probably got the inside track to that job now.
And I'm huge on Kyle Long. I loved him as a player. But the fact that he got hurt in non-contact in OTAs is not encouraging.
It's a big problem.
That's the only thing. He's a great player. It's the only thing that derailed his career.
Yeah.
And
why you're tired.
It's the same thing. So let's hope that it was a freak mishap. I don't have any details on it. No one has that I know was there to see it. So we don't have any concept. Let's hope that it was a rarity and it's not more evidence of a continuing issue for him. I do know that the team likes Trey Smith a lot. I'm trying to hold the train back because I just feel like he's going to get so much pressure put on him. But the team likes him. I'll tell you that right now, you guys. You are way better than me, Sean. I'll tell you that. Let's see. Next question, folks. If you have question marks, please. Ben, good one. What happens to DOD?
RIP. That's all I can say.
Could Riley Cole make this roster? Maybe.
Probably.
I don't know. Based on what I saw, I wasn't that impressed. But, they have 4 linebackers.
Yeah.
Whoever's the 5th linebacker, whether it's DOD or Riley Cole or somebody else steps up, could Harris be the 5th and you keep a 6th? Whoever that is, it's special teams.
Yep.
And DOD has been good at that. So maybe nothing happens to him. Maybe it's his time that he does get cut from the roster. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that it's really going to depend on Tobe. Tobe has his guys. If DOD is one of his guys, he's going to make this roster. He'll be that 5th linebacker. That's just how it works. We've seen it with wide receivers and notable players that work special teams well. So I feel like that's kind of where it is, unfortunately.
I'm with you. Hey, Julian, hope you're doing good.
Man.
Scott, why would What would the minimum outcome with Clark be? Suspension length. I mean, he could have the charges dropped tomorrow and he'll get nothing. So I don't know. It depends on what the outcome is. But if the commissioner is pissed off about multiple arrests for the same thing, I mean, they could put him on the commissioner's list and he'll be suspended indefinitely.
Yeah.
The minimum could be absolute 0. So keep that in your thoughts. Let's see. Questions. Okay. If the Chiefs could get any player in the whole NFL, who would it be? Adrian Gonzalez. Wow.
Well, this is the easiest question for me. I'm all in on Jalen Ramsey. He fits exactly what you're doing. What you want to do, you want to play physical, man-covered corner. It's probably the weakest spot outside of linebacker, which you have 2 up-and-coming guys to play. You don't necessarily have a guarantee of that at corner outside of Snead. You get Snead and Ramsey, guess what? You get to lock people down.
Yeah. But as soon as something doesn't go Jalen's way, Jalen's about Jalen.
I don't care.
I do.
Good plays.
That bugs the crap out of me. Anyway.
He's been quiet in L.A.
Because he is not up for a contract.
Well, that and he's happy. He's not in Jacksonville.
They're playing the defense the way he wants to play it. Yeah, exactly. You keep him happy, he should shut up. So
no
good
big
for
deal.
Him. Well, yeah, until it doesn't work or it doesn't fit the rest of your personnel. Anyway, yeah, I got to tell you, for me, it'd probably be Devontae Adams because you put him in this offense at the X on the other side, like there is no stopping them at all. You don't agree, though?
No, I think that the offense is going to be good, like good to great, no matter what they do. They have Tyreek Hill, they have Travis Kelce. Obviously, you can accentuate that with better players, but the real upgrade is at the defensive spot. They've been really good at keeping people from scoring, but every single season, teams just drive down the field. Like it's been an issue. And if you can help lock down those outside, help everyone underneath flow with some of the corners, I feel like that's a little bit more impactful. Now, maybe I'm wrong.
No, I'm with you there. That's a fair point. And the bigger thing for me is like the better you get at not allowing those long drives, the less snaps that your defense plays, which means less chance for injury, which I think has bit them some. That's significant. I think Trish is looking at this too. Thank you, Trish. I really like Wharton. Do you see more of him this season? Yes, and you might see him in a different locale too.
I'm hoping so. I told everyone, one of my takes before this whole Chris Jones stuff came out, that you'd see Tershawn Wharton play more defensive end than Chris Jones this season. I think that's still up for grabs.
Yeah, I hope so. I would like to see that as well. And from what I understand, he took some reps out there. So
good.
Scott, not at fullback. I just don't think Andy's going to do it. I would love it.
Please.
My question is, can he actually play the position that he signed to play? We saw him filling at linebacker last year, and he did okay. But the one thing is I haven't seen progression at his position.
That's one thing that I'm kind of leaning towards with the fact that they're playing Wharton and Jones more at edge, that maybe Saunders is playing more at defensive tackle to allow them the flexibility to play these guys on the edge. So I know Reed brings some in, but if you take Jones and Wharton and you're playing him at end, you still have to fill two spots. And Wharton, I mean, Saunders should be one of the guys getting some of those reps.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I am hopeful too. He's my guy.
Yeah,
I am really crossing my fingers for him. It sounds like he has an attitude on social media. Let's hope that carries through.
Please.
Let's see, Daryl, how are you, man? I still didn't hear you very well the last time you were on the Zoom. We'll get you back again so I can hear you better, and we'll change that up. Who do you think will be the surprise cut? Ooh, surprise?
It really depends on your definition of like who you think is going to make the roster, because I know who I'm going to say, but it might not be a surprise to Ryan.
You go first.
I'm going to say it's Armani Watts. I don't think he's going to make this roster.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's not a surprise to me. I'm trying to make sure that I'm saying something that would be a surprise to everyone else. I don't think Blythe makes this roster. I just haven't heard anything about him standing out in any way that makes me think. Now, again, he's a wily veteran, so maybe he's coasting through OTAs and training camps, a whole different story. Could very well be. I'm just saying, like right now, it seems everything that I hear coming out of One Arrowhead Drive is about other players.
Interesting. So, if I were to pick someone on the offensive line, it'd be Andrew Wiley. I mean, I
think he could get traded.
Yeah, that Blythe might be able to get traded. He's on a 1-year deal. I mean, he's played starter level for the better starter level than Wiley has. So I mean, you can get something out of him.
Yeah, you never know. Scott, koozies. Yeah, I am working on that, and hats are my first priority because I can't get anybody to make hats worth a dang. I've tried 3 different like versions of Teesprings where the t-shirts are. And they all fall apart. They're all pretty low quality. So I'm going to build a second store that we'll probably transition to that should have better quality. And hopefully more variety, and we'll get you some koozies too. I like those too, especially the ones that float so that I can just kind of lay around in the lake and not worry about it. That's what I'm going for. I don't know what that was, but hey,
I don't know.
It's growing. We're going to go with it. That's all I know. Jimmy, you're right. Terez had an eye for talent. What's that line from Any Given Sunday? I'm a scary judge of character.
Was never a big fan of Any Given Sunday.
No? I got a buddy that's in that, so it's always got a soft place in my heart. If you watch the rock out scene in the locker room, one of those big, ugly offensive linemen is one of my dudes.
No, that's cool.
Yeah. Do you see the Chiefs bringing a veteran CB before camp?
Nah.
I really don't.
Like they've had all this time to get a veteran quarterback in here to train up for the season and to get ready for camp, and they were just like, "Nah, we're good." If that would have been a veteran cornerback, it would have been Bashad Breeland. Like that. Let's be honest. Like if they were going to do that, it would have been him. They just would have brought him back. So I don't really see it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Looks like I'm reading the chat a little bit here. I'm going to go back up to Elliot because he had a question. Bills fan, welcome. Glad you made it. I like your team a lot, and I like your coach a lot.
Oh, man.
You guys have owned us during the Mahomes era. Do you think that we've closed the gap at all after the moves the teams have made? I do. I think more importantly, you're going to be more in the driver's seat of that division. And so I think you might see a delayed meeting until later down the line. But no, like I was a big fan of Josh coming out, and I said that time it's all about the coaching that he gets from this point forward because he's got all the physical tools. It's about controlling himself and he and his marks and being as accurate as he possibly can. He's never going to be the most accurate quarterback. But I do see a day, maybe not that far from now, where it's Josh Allen and Mahomes that are the top 2 quarterbacks in this league. And at the end of the day, the quarterback drives everything.
It is, and they're close. I still have some questions about the Bills' defense. Like if we watch both games, the Chiefs did whatever they wanted to on the ground in the first game. They did whatever they wanted to through the air in the first game, and I don't necessarily see a huge step up in what they've added to the defense. So it'll really, for me, I think the offense is great. Josh Allen's great. Adding Stephon Diggs really made that offense go. I think that they're going to do a better job this year running the football. So, yeah, I do think that they have closed the gap because, Allen's going to have a second year with that level of play under him. So he's going to understand things better. Generally, that's just how it works. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what they can do defensively to really try to match what the Chiefs do, because the Chiefs did pretty good defensively against Allen and them both times, I think.
I'll tell you this, too. Like, the big question for me in this particular draft class for the Bills is if.
Exactly.
I mean, I think Greg Rousseau could be super good.
Could be, and you're betting on you're betting on some things go falling your way, and if he does, then that they need a pass rush.
Yeah, absolutely
bad.
Like, and I was it Harrison Phillips that I think I was disappointed in last year? Like, I thought he might take a step forward. They got your guy Spencer Brown too. Like, if he gets the coaching he needs, he could be really good. If
he could be a lockdown tackle for you for years. He's just an animal. But again, it's a lot of upside projected guys. And if they go your way, I mean, they'll be right there in like 2 years. They'll be like right there.
Yeah. And Rousseau in particular, I thought he was a gamble. What was it? 30th pick? Yeah. but the upside is so there. Like I could see portions of Myles Garrett in him. I can see portions of some dip under. I know he's still light, but he's got plenty of room to grow, in my opinion. And if they do that, you saw what the Bucs were able to do with some pass rush against Mahomes. I think that helps the Bills quite a bit. And with Trey White back there, I mean, I'd trade for Trey White tomorrow.
Yep.
That's just me.
I love that dude. He's so good.
Okay. I'm glad I found it, you guys. I think I got. And thank you. I just found Aaron telling me, hey, go read Ellie's question. Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. I'm glad.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Ooh, good question. I'll always take the outside guy, Neil.
Fastest way to get to a quarterback's up the middle. Give me Chris Jones.
Okay, so together we'll have you covered. Which is interesting, though. The slimmed down version of Chris Jones looks more and more like Neil to me.
I can see that.
That is an interesting piece. And now we'll have apples to apples to compare if Chris plays on the outside as much as we think he's going to. Okay, shoot. I just lost something. Dang it. Too much scrolling. Welcome, Bill Meyer. I think I got you before. Okay, so I did miss. We'll get Jake's. Jake,
jeez.
Dude.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. And he has a good point. If you guys would hit the thumbs up, that always helps some more fans find us, like Elliot, who is not a Chiefs fan, but glad you're here. And awesome. Jake, thank you very much. What do you think is the weakest aspect of Casey's game, and which AFC team is best positioned to attack that? Thinking back to the Raiders game last year, it felt like they were dead on. Yay, Discord. Nice.
Sorry. Gosh. Just for everyone forget about it. I never said it, okay? It never happened. It's not coming. Don't worry about it.
It is just not. It's going to be a member perk. We'll just say it out loud, folks.
Sorry.
Jake, you will definitely have access. We're going to be inviting the members to what is something completely new that the whole team has been working on. I think you guys will dig it once we get it going. But it's not ready yet, and that's mostly on me. That's mostly on me. Dang. The weakest aspect of the Chiefs' game is the run defense, in my opinion. The question is, teams have tried to exploit it over and over, and even when they do, they find themselves in a foot race with Mahomes' offense that they can't win.
Yeah, and to go a little bit deeper into that, it's really dissected into the linebackers. Like the linebacking crew has been the weakest spot on this defense for the last 3+ years. It's been bad. Like there's been no two ways about it. The run defense is almost exclusively helped by linebackers filling their gaps, properly reading and reacting to where they need to get to. The defensive tackles and Nadi is one of the best run defending defensive tackles in the NFL. He's, for a guy who doesn't look huge, he can get into gaps and force things to not go the way you want them to as an offensive line. And I think that the defensive front has done a good job against the run, and the linebackers haven't filled properly. So for me, it's specifically been just the linebackers. If they could shore that up, I think that there's almost no holes in what they do going forward.
Yeah. I mean, oof. Man.
It's tough.
I think, and I'll tell you this, Jake, the Raiders game came down to the safeties blowing 2 plays, and one of them was Tyron. Those were mental mistakes that allowed those long touchdowns. So I don't think that's repeatable if you're Las Vegas. That's
I also think that Spags called their bluff. Said, "You want to throw the ball down the field? Go for it."
Right.
It was like, go for it.
And when your last safety bites, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. Don Gruden was like, "Okay, I'll just throw the ball down the field," and Spags was like, "Go for it. I don't care." And it worked.
I got 15 on the other side. I'm going to be okay. I missed a couple super chats. One was Stevie telling Gooch to send Elon a super chat. Do that. If you figure that out, let me know how to do it. Then Gooch said, it's awful juicy in here, nation. Hi, Dan. And salute to Therese. Keys said, Elon doesn't super chat, but he likes Bitcoin, evidently. Or he does today. Tomorrow he'll change his mind. Send him an email. And then Gooch said, what's the betting line, the over under? Anxiously awaiting. Yeah, hey, I'm anxiously awaiting better internet too. Hey, honey.
You say hi?
Have fun. Hi. Good wave. I like that. Let's see. Saul. Okay, we've talked about both those guys. And Gooch said he's going to have something for you that on the live show tomorrow. I have not watched it yet, so hey. Jimmy, if I missed your question, I apologize. Come back to me and I'll make sure that I get it. Jake, thank you again for that big super chat. We appreciate the support, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Bill, who will our return specialist be? We need a home run hitter. That's an interesting question. From what I understand, there's been a lot of reps given to Antonio Callaway in that regard.
Interesting.
And second is Fenton.
See, I don't like that.
No? You don't think he has the speed to really exploit?
No, I don't. I think that Callaway does. I think he does. I think he's got the shiftiness as well. I've been pulling for my guy Maurice French to be a return specialist, like pulling him or Pringle. I think it's probably going to come down to Callaway or Pringle. Unless Pringle locks down that X receiver spot, then they'll probably give it to someone else to save you on reps. But I feel like Pringle was the best returner out of the last few, like last year. Like he was the best returner that they had.
I will not argue with you.
As long as it's not Robinson back there, I don't care.
Well, we'll talk about that later. I just don't want to see him use Pringle because I want him to be fresh on every chance he gets on the offense. Okay.
Callaway would be fun. Would be fun.
Okay. I'm glad you're happy, Steve. Okay, good. I didn't want to blow it. So, hey, I think we're good, everybody.
It's my fault anyway.
We're going to get there. Jimmy, okay, here's this question. What position will consistently provide the most competition for jobs this season? Not just training camp and preseason, but the entire season, banning injury. Ooh, I think I know. What do you think?
Wide receiver position. I think they're going to be going back and forth a lot because you know that the way that the Chiefs love DeMarcus Robinson, they clearly like Pringle. You have Hardman there, and they love Cornell Powell as much as I do. Like I have been a huge fan of his game since I scouted him before most people knew about him. So like he's awesome. I think that there's going to be a lot of internal competition for getting on the field for those guys. Like I think that that's a really good, really positive thing to have for them because you've got a young guy pushing both Hardman, Pringle, and Robinson really all to get on the field. I think that's really going to breed the best out of them.
I hope so. I like Powell. I'm not sure that he's there as a rookie. I haven't seen anything yet, but when we go to camp, or if I go to camp, we'll know. Folks, I am trying to get there. The fact that they moved everything back a week is throwing me off. The day job is not giving me time off right now, so we'll fight that battle in August. But just so you know,
I will be there. So,
but I like that competition. I think that's going to be great. I think it's going to end up being the offensive line though, because between the long injury, LDT, Trey Smith, I think the right guard position could be a rotation all year long. And then if Niang doesn't win it in camp, I think he's the guy that's going to be pushing all year long to get to a starter level. He has to. I completely agree. So that's what I'm hopeful for. And honestly, they have probably 11 guys right now that could start in this league, if not more. So like whittling it down, they're going to have a lot of guys that can step in, and that competition is going to be pretty good. And that's best for everybody. So, Gonzo, how many seasons till we see a slight decline in Travis? I think we've seen a little bit like physically with the foot, like he's like 98% of what he was in 2018, in my opinion. But in terms of production, 2025, I don't know.
That's the thing. Like in a decline in production, I'm going to say 4 years.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end of the next 3 years, you start to see a little bit. But I'm saying you're not going to see a decline in his production for 4 years.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was going to say 3, but I like 4 better. Well done. Jake, thank you again. Shoot, I meant to be specific to the AFC West. Oh, but either AFC West or potential AFC Championship opponent. I think the Chargers, it's all about whether they're healthy. They made some other good additions. Like they're going to help Herbert out. I think, by the way, in the three-headed monster of the future, I think Herbert is that other one with Josh Allen and Mahomes. It just depends whether they can do their job and keep him on the field. I don't know.
So the dark horse here are the Denver Broncos. They're literally competent quarterback play away, I think, from actually being a contender in the AFC West. Like their defense, in my opinion, is going to be top 5. They've shown a competency to keep the Chiefs offense at bay for a lot of times. I know that we had the weird fiasco with the Tyreek Hill touchdown last year, but even before that, like they've done a good job of keeping the offense at bay for the most part. And Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy and now Javonte Williams. They have a legit offense. They just get competent quarterback play. I think that they're actually going to be a very good team.
Yeah. I mean, that defense is scary.
Yeah.
They are building themselves, or I'm sorry, they have built themselves specifically to stop the Kansas City Chiefs offense. Like their corners, they might have the best secondary in football.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's crazy. And if Vaughn is Vaughn again, look out, because I think Chubb's going to be back.
Yeah, even 3/4 of him. That's all you really need.
Yeah, it's crazy. The endurance is important. Thank you, Stevie. You guys are awesome.
Yes, you guys are awesome.
Quickly becoming people come here to listen to what you say in the chat, not what I'm saying in the microphone. But E-turn, very good point. I think right now my money's probably on KC.
I think they already got one, so I think, yeah. We might be losing that battle already.
Right? You know, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm trying. Mr. White is here. How are you, bud?
How's it going, man?
What's more important in your opinion? Someone stepping up and taking control of the wide receiver 2, or someone taking control of the right guard position? I know where you're going. Oh, yeah? I did not think you were going to say that. I'm going to say the opposite.
No, I think that wide receiver 2 isn't going to matter so much if Mahomes has time to go through his reads. So eventually someone's getting open. So you can give him time when there's not a weak point on that offensive line, then I think you'd be golden.
Yeah. My only thing is I think they have 3 quality players to choose from at right guard. Whereas if somebody doesn't win that wide receiver 2, it's a whole lot of question marks. It's a whole lot of maybes to me. So that's the only reason that I'd put it the other way. But
I mean, we think that they have players that can play right guard.
True.
we think.
True. That is a fair point. Mr. Concepcion, how are you? Do you agree that Travis Kelce's his academy and sharing his trade secrets? I mean, do I agree with it? He's sharing some things, yes, but he's learning as well. And like I said earlier, it's not just Travis giving away information. He's there with Kittle, and he's there with Greg Olsen, who is completely underrated by this generation of football fan about how good a player he is. So I think Travis is 98% of what he's ever going to be. Yeah. If he can get 0.5% better because he picks up things from those guys, dude, that's a payoff.
Yeah, I think if you look around the league, the tight end position is at one of the weakest points it's ever been. The top is heavy, but everywhere else is not. Yeah. It's not very good. And Kelce sees this not only as an opportunity for him to impart his knowledge, that things that he's learned to future generation of tight ends, but to improve the play of tight ends all over the league. I think that he sees it more as more of a duty to the position itself that he loves, because I think he's going to eventually be a coach in this league at some point in terms of maybe tight end coach or whatnot, offensive coach. I don't really know what that's going to entail for him, but I think he's showing you that it's not always just about you. And that's something from Kelce earlier in his career where he might not have thought that. I think that he's completely changed his dynamic on that.
Yeah, fair enough. Voodoo thinks it's going to be Niang. I hope so. I will be very happy if he can win that job. Yes. And I want him to win it. Gene has a good question. What does Jerick McKinnon bring to the table that Damian Williams didn't have? Explosive speed. Damian's got good speed. McKinnon's got a gear above him.
I disagree. I think Damian and McKinnon have both very explosive speed. His speed is so underrated. Like that, obviously Tyreek Hill running up to him on that 91-yard touchdown run kind of takes away from what he did. But I think that McKinnon brings a bit better vision. I think he's a better seer of holes. Damian was very specific in his thing. He was getting to the edge, or he finally identified that huge cutback lane, and it had to be big, or else he would usually miss it. And I think that that's the biggest thing he brings if he makes the roster that Damian didn't have.
Yeah, I disagree. I think he's got a higher gear, and that's fine. They don't get to use it that often, unfortunately, because of the offensive line. So maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't. But I do think he definitely makes it. I think Darrow will remain the backup, but I think he's definitely going to be the third down guy for at least a while. Kevin, if Powell, Pringle, Robinson, Mecole do not step up, who do you see taking the Chiefs as their first pick in next year's draft? Personally, I love Traylon Burks. Who's the kid? Is it Ross from Clemson?
Justin Ross, if he has a comeback year after his That would be 2 Clemson receivers in a row. I don't know if they'll do that, but
I know, right?
really
I'm just saying, like, he's the guy that of what the film that I've seen of the wide receivers in that class, he's the guy that stands out to me as having the most upside.
Yeah, Burks is great. They've got this guy Freifogel out of Indiana. He's good. Like there's the wide receivers. Here's the thing about the wide receiver class. I've talked with it a bit about on Twitter. They're going to be deep, heavily deep drafts because of 7-on-7. It's become such a great asset for young players, young wide receivers, quarterbacks to get that time in. These wide receivers are going to be deep and they're going to be very, very good for the rest of time. Like that's how it's going to be with the NFL. The wide receiver talent's always going to be there.
Yeah, it seems like it, just the way that the funnel works.
Yeah.
It's going to be it. Okay, we are well over time. You guys, I'm going to run through the rest of the super chats, and if anything else sticks out, we will answer that as well. Holly, glad you made it. Welcome back. Don't worry about being late. Just want to say hello, Rogue Nation. I love that you guys are picking that up. That's awesome. I don't know who came up with it first. Was it Stevie? I don't know. I'm going to credit Stevie, I think. Question for Dan. We know Jamal is your boy among Chiefs legends. Who rounds out your top 3? I assume at the running back spot, or is it just legends?
I don't know, because if it's, just legends, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't watch much before Priest Holmes era. So, you've got Trent Green, Will Shields, that kind of thing. If we're talking just running backs, it would be Jamal, Priest, LJ. Like Larry Johnson at his prime was incredible.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he got a little crazy, but that's neither here nor there. But if we're talking like players that I've watched from the time I started football to now, it'd be Patrick Mahomes, number 1, because he's going to be the greatest Chiefs player of all time. Let's just be honest about that. And then it would be Jamal, and then I'd have to say Will Shields. Just the way that he plays the offensive line position, it's incredible.
Dude, yeah, hey, that is. I will not argue with your list, my friend. I will not. Holly, yes, we both have all juice on. We did not plan that, by the way.
We
did. Thank you, Jimmy, as always. Kevin, okay, we got that one. Okay, he had to ask it twice. I think I just am bad at scrolling right now. We're going to wrap it up here, guys. Okay, glad that it still works, Gooch. I appreciate it.
Gooch.
As always. Most intuitive and impactful Casey personal media person ever. Not necessarily in that order. Yeah. I don't know. There's really only one person on that list for me. I think everybody else does a good job doing their job. But in terms of impact of understanding the game,
Terez is a different level, man.
Yeah, and that's where I take it too. No, you have not, but you don't have to. Good Lord, stop. Will Kelce play as long as Tony G? I don't know. That's the big question about whether he can make it or not. If he can, he has a shot to do those things. And beyond that, I just don't know. Oh, Modfathers keep a track. Okay, we're good. We got a couple more, and we're going to scoot, folks. Let's see. Oh, good Lord, we have a bunch over. Oh, never mind. Give us that juicy super chat. Okay, we're gonna make that a theme, evidently. Since Fran has an hour behind me, the stream just started. That's cute. You guys just keep that up. You'll be streaming here by yourselves,
right?
My kids are about to come in here and take over, so watch out. Super Jess. Oh, good Lord, you're killing me.
Oh my God,
Smalls.
Oh my God.
Bro, yeah. I'm just gonna keep doing that because it's fun. Big shout out to the Modfather. Yes, Aaron, thank you for everything. Jeff Porter, I know you're not here. Thank you for everything. Everything that Danilo's done here. Thank you for that. I do like having Dan on the show, and you guys know that we like hanging out with Seth. Super chat, you say. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Todd. Appreciate that. Gooch is a machine. I cannot keep up with him. Yes, we'll figure that out as well. Yeah, I'm not able to ask right now, so we'll figure it out. He's just going for the over now. That's all.
Yeah, he's doing it on purpose. I think he
okay. All right. Let's see here. Of course, the next one is him too. Okay. Like, is there anyone who isn't? No, right? Todd was the last. So, and actually, I finally reached the bottom. So, thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. We'll answer more questions, a few of them anyway, on Thursday night with Seth, and then we'll be back for the normal Q&A next Monday night. We will try to have an announcement for you when we can get the community up for the members. We'll let you know that. And for those of you that aren't members, consider that because you get a lot of perks in there, including all the content from what Stevie and Gooch are doing for you guys as well. So, Dan, thanks for jumping in tonight.
No problem, guys. I hope to get some good videos out for you this week. Hope you enjoy them.
You guys are going to dig them. And I got a couple things perking up here too. So thank you for your evening. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll have video for you tomorrow from Dan, and we'll go from there. Have a good one.